Man, I know throughout this entire year, whenever I do one of these videos, I'm always complaining about like how there's no new music that's been coming out. Not really complaining, but just always bringing it up. And then this past fucking month had happened. I mean, it felt like every week it was just like back to back to back to back. Really, the only other kind of song that I've somewhat talked about before that I've just had in heavy rotation lately, and I think will remain in heavy rotation throughout the entire year, is Mike Tyson Blow to the Face by Clipse off of their newest album, Like God Sort 'Em Out. I talked about it a little bit when I talked about the actual album itself and how just the production, it's fucking disgusting. Like, it's, oh my gosh, but that's my favorite part about the song, is just the production and just the beat drop, because that might be the hardest beat drop I think I've ever heard in a song since, I don't know, Ultimate by Denzel Curry. I mean, that was huge because everybody just started making memes off of it. And I love as well the structure of how it's just like Pusha T rapping with no music, then the music comes in, then the hook, then Malice with no music, then with the music comes in, and then the hook, and then song ends. Pretty decent structure. But as far as like newer music goes, I mean, I won't be able to even talk about all these albums in full without this video being like over 2 fucking hours long. But at least after Clipse had dropped, very shortly after, like 2 days after, Travis Scott tried to one-up Pusha T numbers wise by releasing Jack Boys 2, which I wasn't really looking forward to because I'm not the biggest fan of the original Jack Boys album. Not to say that I think it's bad or anything, but I will say I have a bigger appreciation for that album after hearing this motherfucker. Well, there's a couple issues I do have with this project. Number one being that for a label-based album, Cactus Jack as a collective, like, there's no chemistry whatsoever. I kind of wish that the other members of Cactus Jack actually had more of an input into how the actual project was going to come out. And that kind of brings me to my second issue with the project, is Travis Scott. Travis Scott has to have probably my least favorite performances on this entire project, which says a lot because I do really enjoy listening to Travis Scott. It's just mind-blowing how you can release 17 songs and like 70% of it is just Travis Scott and the rest are just kind of brushed off to the side, for it to feel like not that Travis Scott's not even like putting in the work at all. An even bigger shock to me that SoFago is probably my favorite part about, like, from the collective on this project. MM3, that song is a fucking banger. But of course there's one song in particular I have been listening to probably the most off this whole project, which is none other than Where Was You, featuring Playboi, Carti, and Future. I like the production from Filthy. The strings in particular I really enjoy. Carti has a phenomenal hook on there. It's fucking great. And then Future, I really love Future's verse on here. Ironically, Travis Scott's my least favorite part about this song, but either way, and I know this is gonna sound fucking wrong when I say this, but I started getting Twitter memes in my head of the big three. And no, I don't mean this big three. I don't mean this big three either, or this big three. What I mean is this big three. Now, that isn't to say that I think that these three artists are anywhere near Bosch, Wade, or LeBron, but it's just like, I just thought of Twitter memes and how, like, whenever a new album comes out, and it's just the first thing you'll see is just like NBA stats for like a fucking artist, even if the album is just mediocre. But I think as well, the day after Jack Boys 2 came out, Tyler the Creator came out with a brand new album titled Don't Tap the Glass, which I did also manage to get the test pressing of the vinyl. I was really shocked to even hear that Tyler the Creator was coming out with a brand new album so soon after Chromacopia. Yeah, when I heard this album at first, I knew it wasn't going to be super conceptual. When I first heard the album, I wasn't too crazy on it. But then I got into like a second listen and I was like, hold on. It's kind of hard. But I do like how each song is kind of like a different type of song for you to dance to. It's not like same tempo and same shit, or he didn't just make an entire fucking rap album. As far as songs do go, I really like Big Poe. I really love that Busta Rhymes sample, because that shit just gets me hyped immediately. I really like Sucker Free. I really liked Momanem and Stop Playing With Me. Stop Playing With Me, that shit was hard. But as far as my favorite song does go, it has to be I'll Take Care of You. Let me just say, like, normally when it comes to Tyler the Creator albums, I do lean more towards songs where he is rapping, mainly just because I feel like that's just his strong suit and that's where I think his voice shines more, even though that isn't to say that he cannot make a great song where he sings. He's proven that time and time again. This song, oh my gosh, this is one of the most beautiful songs I think he's ever made in his life. Getting Yebba on this song did wonders. She is phenomenal on here. Her vocals are absolutely gorgeous. Even the little bit that you get of Tyler the Creator singing, his vocals are absolutely gorgeous. And I love how with the instrumental, it starts off kind of like low key and chill, and you know, then you get the big drop where then you start dancing, and then it falls all the way back up into that slowness to kind of let the song go away. And it's ironic because the song isn't even that long and it feels so long, but not in a bad way, and more in a way of like so long that like you're just lost in just how great this song is, that you kind of don't even care how much time passes. You feel like time is passing by like really slow because it's just, you're just hooked into the song, you know? And after that, I did listen to Jim Legacy's new album, Black British Music, which I wasn't really too interested in going into it, but I was just watching Sean C stream. Shout out Sean C. And he was just playing the album, and I was just like, sure, I'll listen to it while he's listening to it. And I actually found myself really enjoying it for the most part. The thing I like about it is how kind of poppy it is. It feels very poppy in a way. While some songs still do feel very hip-hop, just how kind of like catchy a lot of these songs kind of are. In particular, my favorite song on here has to be SOS. That song being probably the most poppy out of the bunch, and that hook is just, it's infectious, it's great. If this is what Jim Legacy normally does put out, or if this is something that he is just now kind of getting into, I might be down to listen to more Jim Legacy, so you know, we'll see where that goes. I also heard about this song from Sean C as well when I was watching one of his streams. But he was listening to Lelo's debut album, New Detroit, which came out recently. Detroit rappers, they do have a very unique kind of sound to them. And the thing that I do like about the song Good For Your Health is just how it has an instrumental that is very Detroit, but also very kind of modern, or not modern, but like contemporary in a way, just something you would kind of hear more often. And Lelo, the way he kind of raps on here, it seems very natural, which I mean is kind of ironic because I feel like the way that Detroit rappers do rap on those Detroit-esque beats is very unnatural, and not in a diss or anything, but like that's actually kind of a compliment I do have about a lot of Detroit rappers. It's just how kind of unnatural it does feel, and it kind of makes that type of music stand out more on its own. Metro Boomin did come out with a brand new mixtape titled A Futuristic Summer. As far as, I don't even know if I've gone into like how I feel about Metro Boomin as an artist. Obviously, as some of you may know, We Don't Trust You was my favorite album of last year. As far as just his solo projects go, like I remember being in high school when Not All Heroes Wear Capes come out, and that was just a fun album. It grew on me even more as the years went by. And then in 2022 he did release his most popular album, and ironically might be one of my favorite albums ever. I know that's kind of too soon to say, but I just really enjoy that album for how cinematic it is. Heroes and Villains, just hit after hit. And it felt as well that on that album every artist was kind of like, they were kind of rapping like they were in their prime. So of course I'm always going to be open to new albums by Metro Boomin. I'm always going to be open to hearing whatever kind of instrumentals he's cooking up. And if there's one thing I wasn't expecting with this project, was for it to sound very 2000s, early 2010s Atlanta trap music. That A side of that mixtape is so great, and then once you get into the B side, I don't know what it is, but it just drops off. I think maybe one way in which he could have benefited from that is maybe B-side sound like a completely different era of rap music, or just throwback to like 2016 kind of beats or whatever, which I know would probably be what a lot of fans would want. But I don't blame him for still sticking with the same sound even on the B-side. My favorite song on here has to be Stealin' All the Swag. Young Dro is actually kind of the MVP on this whole project. Like I think he's featured on the most songs here, and just his performances overall were some of my favorites. The big highlight for this is just the hook. That's really it. That's why I love this song. It's the hook is so dog shit, but it's not dog shit. It's like really good. It's just so unnatural, but it fits so well, and it feels so catchy. It just immediately hooks you in. It's why I personally believe it's kind of the best song on the album, because it doesn't sound like anything else that you get on the rest of the project, nor does it sound like any song that I can ever recall having a hook like that back in like the 2000s, early 2010s. And I remember that same week Yeat dropped a new EP called Dangerous Summer. As y'all know, I'm not the biggest Yeat fan. His last couple albums have actually been doing a lot more for me recently compared to like his older stuff. I have gone back to some of his older stuff, and some of it has grown on me. But this EP, it's just an EP, and holy shit is this EP fucking amazing. And I came out of this damn near liking every single song. I think there might be only one song I didn't really care for all too much, and that's about it. It's like 12 tracks, I think. Overall, I don't know how much involvement Benny X has on this EP, but if he has a lot of involvement with this EP, just the entire EP is what I mean, production wise, I would love to hear more of that on whatever the fuck he's coming out with as far as an album goes. I almost forgot to even talk about my fucking favorite song, which is LOCO. LOCO to me it has so much more energy than I feel like any of the other songs do. And I think around like the core or the hook area, it reminds me very much of like, not the hook itself, but the production kind of reminds me a little bit of Just Wanna Rock. And not the sense that it sounds like a Jersey Club song, but like in the sense of just like it's just the same bass hitting repeatedly over and over, like somebody's knocking. It just added like more energy to that song on top of like Yeat's own performance. And then of course there's the infamous sample of B-Lou, and that was kind of funny, I'll say. Yeah, if this is any indicator for what Yeat's next album's gonna sound like, I'm excited. And then after that, I do have Ski Mask the Slump God, who came out with a 30-ish song like compilation tape or whatever of just songs that have not been released on DSPs, mainly songs that were on like SoundCloud, several songs being featuring XXXTentacion, which I'd never heard those songs before, so I was actually kind of happy to hear those songs for the first time. One song in particular that I heard back when the music video came out, and that was the only way you could listen to it, is you had to look up the music video, but Alien Sex, so much fun to listen to. It's like, the way he raps is so infectious, you just can't help but smile and just have a great time listening to it. And I like how, I know it's gonna sound crazy when I say it, but how weird the instrumental is. It's more weird than I think his other instrumentals that he's ever done, and I know he's had a couple weird ones, but this one is definitely weird, where you have like someone screaming in the background, or like some sort of shriek in the background, and then that mixed in with the 808s, like it's, I really enjoy it. And the latest release to have came out has been a very anticipated album of mine this year, which has been JID with God Does Like Ugly. I was really looking forward to this project after hearing what he did back in 2022 with the Forever Story. That album is fucking amazing. It's one of the best albums, I think, rap-wise, to have came out in the 2020s. And for him to follow that up, I was really looking forward to. But at the same time, I was a little nervous because I heard the Prelux. And I know a lot of people are very positive about the Prelux. For me, personally, it just didn't do anything for me. And then as well, the lead single into this album, Work, felt very strange and out of place. Like, I was like, I would have preferred this song to go to somebody like, I don't know, Sexy Red, and JID's just featured on it. Like, that's kind of how I felt about Work. After listening to God Does Like Ugly, man, is it a great album. Pretty much all I can say for the most part. And I have really enjoyed watching recent interviews that he's done, where he's talked about the process of making the album, of how this was made around the same time he was making the Forever Story, and then as well this album, him dealing with the loss of certain people in his life. In particular, I know his grandmother was one, which I think in one interview he brought up how his grandmother actually came up with the title for the project. And I will say, for hidden features, I was actually really pleasantly surprised by the hidden features. I really enjoyed them. They're not hidden anymore, unfortunately. I don't know why the fuck artists keep doing that. Like, just keep them hidden. But as far as songs go, I really liked You Ugly featuring Westside Gunn. Glory was also a great song. No Boo was a great song. Of Blue. Both of those songs great melodically, as well as Wholeheartedly featuring Ty Dolla $ign and Black. For Keeps, great closer to the album. But my favorite song, I would have to say, on here, and it's definitely the song I've been listening to the most, has been Community. For one, it does start out with him with like his voice, like, but lower pitch. Normally, I'm gonna say this, normally when it comes to songs and an artist has their pitch, like the pitch of their voice, like raised or lowered drastically, it does bother me depending on how long it's happening through a song, and kind of the use of it as well. This is one of those cases where I think the lowered pitch does work, and it's because of it's only for just that beginning portion. Then the payoff right after that is great, because then he just gets into this really pissed off bag where he's just saying how he doesn't fuck with industry beef, fuck top threes and shit. And then we get to his verse, which I absolutely love his verse on this song. You know, I love the Lisa Al-Gaid bar. Of course, I gotta talk about it. The Bob the Builder line. Why the fuck are you coming after my fucking idol when I was a child? What did Bob the Builder have to do to you? Why the fuck have we not gotten a Bob the Builder reboot? Like, honestly, fuck Handy Mandy. No, but in all seriousness though, no, that Bob the Builder line is so fucking funny, because it's just out of nowhere, and I laugh every time I hear the song. And it was even great when I was listening to this song for the first time, because then I was surprised to even hear Pusha T at first. And I was like, okay, Pusha T, you know, he fits on this. He's doing really good on here. And then right after the hook, it was just perfect. Because then you hear Malice come in, and he does his verse, And I was like, oh no, he didn't just get Pusha T, bro. He got fucking Clipse on here, and I was stunned. Also, I didn't talk about the production on here. I really like it for how kind of relaxed it is, and I love as well the like those vocal samples that's repeated throughout the song. Really great album. I wouldn't say it's my favorite album of the year, but I think it is a great album, and definitely I would say it's up there for me. Thank goodness I didn't wait any longer to do this video, because holy shit, that was a lot. Outside of that, I mean, I'm really happy that, you know, after Clipse dropped, we finally started getting music, and let's just hope, you know, this continues.
I'm sexy! I'm a sexy boy! Ding!